Morning, everybody. I wish everybody is fine and good in health and the spirit. So today we are going to start with a very interesting topic. This particular session, that is school health program. School health services are the continuation or the integral part of the Mch Care, maternal and child health care. But these are not now small children. So when I'm saying school health program, school health means children who have entered the urban schools, primary schools, secondary schools, higher secondary schools. That is from first standard. So in the slide you can see it is mentioned historical development of the health problems of the school care, objectives of the school health services. Historical development is such. Earlier, children used to go to the schools only to learn 1, 2, 3, 4 and ABCD. So education was the primary aim of all the schools. And even till today, education is the primary aim of all the schools all over the world. But over a period of time, school authorities as well as the health authorities have realized one thing. School children have a special conditions, special health problems. Those health problems affect their academic development also. So if a child has to be academically good and well, he has to be health wise also good and well. So unless child's health is taken care of, you cannot just give education as a stereotype education. So there is something called as a health wellness program for the school children. Now it is accepted all over the world as a norm. Healthy child acquires the knowledge fast, he retains the knowledge fast, he interprets the knowledge and education also fast. So what is required? Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy state of spirit. Remember this. So this is what I mean by historical development. Over a period of time, schools don't mean only the education. Schools also mean taking care of health of the students, pupils. Now here, who plays the role of a doctor? You know, schools timings are such. Child is in the school either from morning 7 to 1 o'clock or from 11 to 5 o'clock. Two different sessions. So how much time child spends in the school? Almost apart from their sleep and their play time, maximum time child is spending in the school. Next to the school time, then they are spending the active time in the house. So who is a doctor in the house? Mother is the first doctor in the house. When child goes to the school, who is the doctor in the house? School's teacher is the doctor in the school. Remember this. These are the very different kind of roles which are played by the teachers in the school. So remember when I talk about the school health program, basically we give orientation and training to the teachers in the schools to understand what are the early signs and the diagnostics of the school health problem, what the problems faced by the child. So which are those problems? Here you find health problems of the school child. What are the health problems of the school child? I think you all have gone to the school days. You have all gone to the first standard, 10th standard, 12th standard, then you come to the medical college. So you know what has happened. Or sometimes you may not have that memory also. But very strangely, you will find the school health problems are minor in the beginning and they take a shape of various great problems in the future during the school days. And now all the adolescent problems, all the adult health problems, all the health scientists are saying origin goes to the school days, adolescent days. Again and again, it is said about all the non-communicable diseases, particularly the roots goes back to the school days, adolescent days. So now remember, now health problems here is not only coughing, sneezing, running nose, having fever, a common health problem. It is said any child in the school stage, any child in the school stage So friends, the problems of school children are very peculiar. Particularly two things I want to just highlight, very prominent. Just you should not miss it. One is upper respiratory infections. School children are very much prone for the upper respiratory infection. Most of the school health studies show at least 3 to 4 times child suffers from signs and symptoms similar to influenza. At least 3 to 4 times in a year. This is very common. Not only common in India, it is common in all the school children all over the world. Frequent attacks of upper respiratory infections, whether it is influenza, it is minor nasal irritation, whether it is a throat infection, whether it is upper respiratory laryngitis, like that, to that extent. Then another group of infections which are very common among the school children is the GI infections. Diarrhea, loose motion, stomach upset, stomach pain, vomiting. So many complaints related to GI tract, very commonly seen in the school children. Again, these are the outcome of the studies. Third common complaints which children complain many times, very commonly seen. Problems related to the hair and skin. Skin infections, skin irritation, skin boils, skin patches, skin discoloration, skin pupil, abscess, so many things related to the skin because of the poor or bad hygiene, bad personal hygiene. Problems related to the hair fall, fungal infections, skin infection, so many infections related to the scalp and the hair. Again, these one group, both these problems are related to poor personal hygiene. Very commonly seen. Fourth, will come to. What are the fourth problems? Fourth problem is the developmental problem or issues. They are losing their milk teeth and new teeth are coming. Many dental problems during the school going children, including dental caries, loss of tooth, anything related to the dental issues. Then comes another problem. What is that problem? Related to the eye. What is related to the eye? Most of the children will find they cannot see and read properly. Many children get the specs during the school days only because that time you are reading and studying. You suddenly notice you can't read, you can't write properly. So that is a school health problems, particularly the ophthalmic problem. Then there are GNT problems also. Children will say, I can't hear properly. I just feel dumb. I have difficulty in hearing. There is a ringing feeling in the ears, or there is always fainting when I hear some sound. So these BNT problems are also very common in the school children. So now do notice their problems are very peculiar set of problems for the school children. And the best jewel of all the health problems of the school children is a nutritional deficiency. What is a nutritional deficiency? Mother is saying child is not growing, height is not increasing, weight is not gaining, he is weak, he is tired, he is exhausted, he doesn't want to play, he is not interested in the study. Those children who don't play but they are not good on the ground are not good in the studies also. This is observation. Those who are alert, active children, they're physically active, physically alert, as well as they're very active in the studies also. So both way they are very active. So these are the remember this. That's why I mentioned in the beginning. Scholastic development of the child is directly related to the health status of the child. Weak, ill, irritated child does not take at all interest in the school studies. Some or other way he is suffering from some or other health problems. He just cannot come out of the health problem. His nutritional deficiencies are not rectified. He is not taking interest. So remember this. These are the peculiar set of problems. I think you, as a child, if you remember your childhood, you know this. You have gone through this kind of problems. Then what is the objective of the school health service? The first objective of the school health service, as I said, maximum time during the school days from standard 1 to standard 10, maximum time children are spending in the school. Who is their supervisor? Doctor, a mini doctor, teacher. Teacher is always observing the student. She knows what is happening with the child. watering of the eyes, loose motions, coughing, cold. So she is the first person whom child reports. So objective of the school health service first, early reporting, early detection, early intervention, and the follow-up and proper guidance. And last is the rehabilitation of the sick child. We'll go for the next slide. See, I have just shown a very sweet and nice chart. You can see this school health services, what services are given, to whom it is given, what family role is there, what are the chronic diseases, what are the acute diseases, what is the child coordination, and the immunization is also part of the school health program. So we'll go ahead with the next slide. School health education. Remember this, the first jewel of your entire school health program is school health education. When we are talking about education, we are all the time talking about the maths, algebra, English, the language, history, geography, science. These are the subjects. All the time, first to 10th standard, child is only studying this subject continuously. But last historical school health program, when I say this, last 50 years, last 20 years precisely, when the lot of communication developments happened all over the world in last 20 years particularly, they have realized giving just the formal education in the subjects which are indicators of their merits, academic development. Now, all over the world, most of the countries have added school health education as one of the subject for your kind information. School health education is one subject in all the schools. Most of the parts in India, it is a compulsory subject. It is given a space in the science textbook or in the physical exercise book, school health education. Who gives the school health education? Teacher only gives the school health education. How it starts the school health education? I'll just give one small example. I have already told you what are the group of the school health problem. The first and the foremost, teacher will ask every day, good morning students. So did you had a bath in the morning? Students are going to say, I'm talking about first standard, not 10th standard. Students took the bath. Did they comb the hair? Did they clean the teeth? Did they clean their hair, teeth, nails? Are they clean, neat? Teacher is going to see that in the class. She'll ask, have you took the breakfast? What did you eat in the morning? How did you come? By walking to the school or by bicycle, whatever. So school health services first is, teacher is going to ask all the things which is related to your health issue. The first beginning of the class of the school starts with the health education, the first and the foremost. So every day when it is asked, the child is cultivated with the idea he himself is responsible for his own personal hygiene. Remember this. The personal hygiene after the age of 6 years is not the responsibility of mother and father, it is the responsibility of the child. Bowel habits, bladder habits, sleep habits, nutritional dietary habits. These are now all becoming the responsibilities of the child himself. He has to maintain the time, morning, going to the toilet, taking the doing the cleaning of the tooth, combing the hair, going for the bath, taking the breakfast, leaving for the school. So there is a time schedule for everything. Time schedule is given. So this is starts with the 6 years later. All the children are taught healthy habits. This is the integral part of the school health program. Then, now this is about the physical health. What about the other part? He is in some environment in the school, 8 hours, 9 hours. That is called as a healthy school environment. So, what is healthy school environment? His atmosphere is conducive, healthy, he's jovial, he's happy, he's good, he's doing so many activities in the school, physical activities, academic activities, he's participating in the sports, he's participating in the cultural festival, he's participating in the personal development activities, many activities. So he is doing this, but he is into one kind of environment. So what is that environment? I think in my earlier class also I have said, lot of infections which children acquire in the school are upper respiratory infections from other child. Infection, child to child infection is happening. Low respiratory infections, again from child to child, bronchitis, bronchitis, pneumonia, various infections, which are low tract respiratory infections. Then comes GI tract infection, contaminated hands, contaminated food. They share the food in the schools. Very commonly seen. They sit together and eat the food. Food poisoning, very common. The GI tract problem, gastritis, cholera, typhoid, all E. coli infections or amoebic colitis commonly seen, and commonly seen not with one student, it is seen in a group of the children. So this is all related to the food contamination, soil contamination, water contamination, air contamination. Remember, when I say school health environment, means environment in where student is studying or he is living or spending the day 8 to 9 hours in the school environment. So now the aspects of the school health services, what we intend, what we intend to do in the school health services, right? One by one, step by step. So you just try to understand these all the services which are rendered in the school, health advisor of the school children and school personnel. I already told you the teacher is the first doctor, a mini doctor. She doesn't prescribe any medicine, but she is the first person who immediately comes to know what is happening with the child. Then who are the other people? School health program is going on. There is a doctor, team of doctor who visits the school, and they do many schools. They do every year at least one periodical examination. In some of the schools, they do twice. Means every 6 months they are doing the periodical examination. That is a school health program by team of doctors. Either they are coming by from government side or private schools are arranging their own team of the doctors. Then remedial measures and the follow, that is treatment. Prevention of communicable diseases. I told you just now how the diseases spread in the school children. Acute respiratory infection, GI infections. Healthful school environment, personal hygiene, environmental hygiene. Nutritional services, very interesting. What nutritional services we do? All children share their tiffin box. Okay, that is one. But that is not a nutritional service we are giving. What we are giving is a midday meal. Midday meal is given all over India, all the schools for all the primary classes in some of the states. Even the secondary classes, the first 2 years till 7th standard, at least 100% these nutritional services are given to the 7th to 8th standard. Nutritional services are given to the school health midday meal program. There is a different independent class which I will take on the midday meal program. Then first aid, emergency care. As I said, children are most playful, mischievous, playing, dancing. They have propensity for accidents, accidental tendencies. So first aid is given, emergency care is given, mental health. Again, ragging is not in the higher groups. Even small children also rag each other or cause some mental distress to others. So mental health. Then dental health. Then eye health. Eye health care or eye health problems, which are very common, which I already mentioned. 10th, health education. There is no education is complete. No formal primary secondary education is complete unless you give health education to the child. Remember this. Now, this is one of the subject in your educational system. Either it is a part of science subject or it is a part of your physical exercise or the training. Education of the handicapped children, very big subject. Handicapped, mentally handicapped child. 10-year child will behave like a 1-year-old child. 20-year-old child will behave like a 5-year-old child. So there is an age gap, physical handicap. Physical handicapped children. Either loss of the limbs, loss of hearing, loss of vision, loss of speaking, whatever they are. So physically or mentally handicapped children, their education is a very big issue, and we have got the independent separate schools for handicapped children. Remember this: blind school, dumb school, particularly handicapped school are there all over the India. We will discuss that with you. Then the proper maintenance and use of the school records. School records are maintained for each child for 10 years from standard 1 to standard 10. Longest period. I don't think so. Any school health record is so longest in our entire human development. Child is in one school from 1 to 10. Longest school health program. Then health appraisal of the children and the school person. Who does this? Teacher is first, whom child contacts. But what about the school personnel, school staff, teachers? Who is going to train them? Who is going to make them alert, agile? So we have a medical team, which is called as a school health program. So they come and do the checkup of school children. Annually, they do the checkup of school personnel also. Remedial measures and follow for both children as well as the teachers and staff of the school. Prevention of communicable diseases. School is the most fertile ground for acute illnesses, acute upper respiratory infections, lower GI infections, very, very common disease. Basically because of the contamination of food, water, soil, and the air contamination. So here comes again the healthful school environment. Poor environment leads to all these contamination and pollution related health problems. Last comes the breast fuel nutritional services. Nutritional services are given not just sharing each other's food, but in the form of midday school meal program, which is an independent topic which I am going to teach you independently. First aid and emergency care. First aid and emergency care, I think there is no child. I have not heard any child who is 5 or 6 year old. At least 10 times in a year he is falling, getting injured, eye injury, injury to the head, injury to his legs. Always some kind of falls, accidents, first aid and emergency care kits are provided to all the schools. Child gets everything in first aid. The teacher is trained how to do the first aid, how to apply the plain dressing. Secondly, even TT vaccines are also kept. The medical team is also given in the tetanus vaccine. Any emergency care, if child has conversion, child falls back, fails. So emergency care, some guidelines are given to each school. It is stuck there, and even some guidelines are there for the fire. If fire breaks in the school, what is to be done? Those guidelines are also given. Then comes the mental health. All the terrorists or the mentally deranged people who happen later on, their basic problems are mental problems starting in the beginning of their career. Beginning of the career, what I mean to say, early childhood, late childhood. Early childhood is a primary school, late childhood is again the adolescence in the secondary schools, the mental health problems. So either drug abuse, alcoholism, consumption of the addictive drugs, all these mental problems, depression, suicide, homicide, juvenile delinquency, all these mental problems. The child, growing child, some problems of growing children, adolescent children, and then comes the dental health because we are using the milk teeth, new teeth are coming, dental hygiene is not properly maintained. Dental care is among the school children very commonly seen. Dental abscess is very commonly seen. Dental health clinics at least once a year, full school undergoes the dental checkup. Most of the schools in the India, including the private schools, and last comes the eye health, which I already told you. During the school time, only we come to know eye is watering, you can't read properly, vision is hazy, you have difficulty, head is aching when you are reading. So all the eye related problems, exhaustion of eyes, problems of reflection is corrected during this period. Then after all the problems you have understood, what you have to do? Give the health education. How health education is given? Not one child. It is a mass health education given to a one group of class, 50, 30, 40 in one class, health education given mostly by the school teacher, then health education teacher, sometimes the medical team which is visiting the school, education of handicapped children, again special children, they are given a different kind of education, differently able children. Okay? Proper maintenance and use of health records, because I think This is one group. First standard to the 10th standard, 10 years the children are in the school. 10 years the record is maintained. Primary health centers, school health committees. Primary health centers are also doing the health checkup of the school children in their area. Remember this. Big cities, private institutes arrange their own medical doctors. Non-private government agencies arrange their own doctors. What happens in the rural parts of India, other parts, primary health centers are taking care of the school health care. Remember, that's why primary health center and school health committees. Handicapped children. I will take these particular, these handicapped children, their education in my next session. Okay. Thank you, friends. Okay. So I will just, okay, I will not take the next session. I will continue now only. Handicapped children, now we call them as a differently able. Now, handicapped was like, they were, all the children, I think handicapped means it is some kind of stigma. We don't call them handicapped no more. We call them differently able. So how they are differently able? The normal children are doing some normal activities, physical activities. When there is an impairment of that normal physical activity, it is called as a physical impairment or differently able physical problem. Mental problems, mentally, they are doing some calculations, some studies, communication, social behavior. If that is the problem, then we call it as a differently able children in that category, that is mental health. So extent of the problem, what you have to understand is the extent of the problem. Can they live a normal life? Can they live with the family? Can they go out in the society and live their life? This is what is the question. First is we have to see that the child, physically or the mentally disabled child, is able to live a life with the parents, normal life. Second stage is he should be able to live a normal life with the society. Then comes the classification, which we will go into the details about the classification later. But now here you just see the special children. What happens to them? Mentally, these are all physically handicapped. Okay? Special children, see them clearly. Physically handicapped children, mentally handicapped children, the categories of mental retardation, socially handicapped. So there is a lot of focus on these children and their rehabilitation. In my next session, I am going to give a very specific time about the rehabilitation of these children in my next session. So thank you. And thank you for hearing. So nice.